everyone, I am here today because I recently read a book that sort of mixed literature with music, and that was We Own the Sky by Sarah Crawford. And it made me think about the relationship between reading and music, and I thought that'd be a really interesting discussion point. So, first of all, I will start off by just my quick experience with that book. That book focused on some bands I'm not familiar with, along with one of my favourite bands, Muse. And certain songs are mentioned throughout the book, and I kept thinking, I should probably play this album while I read. That seemed like a really good idea. And I never actually did it. And then when I got to the end of the book, I was like, oh, should I have done that? Because basically, me and reading to any sort of background noise have a very, very strange relationship. It is very hit and miss as to whether it works or not. So quickly to run down what I can't read to. Depending on the book this is, I cannot read to pop songs or like songs by my favourite artists like Muse, for example, because I just focus on the song rather than the book. I can't read to talking. I can't read to like the TV just being on with like random stuff being channel hopped or anything. But most of the time I can read to any other music, depending on the book. But I found that this isn't something that applies to everyone. Some people can read to literally anything and everything and it doesn't bother them. Other people can only read to like classical music. I've got an example of that coming up for me. Some people just, they don't want to read both. Maybe it distracts, but maybe in the case of We Own the Sky, maybe that would have added something extra to the plot because the main protagonist was listening to these songs as well. Maybe it would have added that extra dimension. I'd be interested to see whether you have ever had a sort of experience like that where you're reading a book where a song gets mentioned and you listen to the song while you read the book. I feel like it's such a fantastic idea. I know there's other books out there that have done it where there's been like playlists, and I've never read any of these, so maybe you have, maybe you've given it a go. So literally my first ever experience I can remember of me reading a book while reading music was a complete and utter coincidence. It was just what happened at the time, placement as much as anything. So I was once in the car when I was a child reading this book, which is the 9th book in the Babysitter's Mystery series, Christie and the Haunted Mansion. Wow, books were a bargain back then. $2.99, I just noticed that. But yeah, I was reading this in the car, and I don't know whether it was the first time I was reading, whether it was the 50th, because I used to reread books like this over and over and over as a child. But all the same, I was reading this, and my dad had got the radio on, and I definitely associate a certain song with this book, even today, however many years later we now are in. How old is this book? I probably got it around publication. So I got this probably around 95. So I'd have been about 9. I'd have been about 9 when I was reading this in the car. And I wouldn't have probably have given a monkey's what was on. I probably wasn't even paying attention. I don't remember any other song coming on, but I do remember Texas, Black Eyed Boy coming on. And that song has become like an anthem for this book for me. When I look at this book, I associate that song with it. And it's so strange that just one song out of all the others I probably heard that day is the one that's stuck in my head. And somehow in my childhood brain, that song probably, because it had the word black in it, probably made me be like, oh, Haunted Mansion, darkness, black, and somehow associated it like that. But I now have really fond memories of that song and this book and the sort of joining of those because of that. And I just thought that was a really interesting and cute example of me as a child enjoying a song that I probably liked at the time anyway, and a book at the same time, and probably a song that I even knew the words to. I was still able to sort of focus on the story too. I would say, even though I can read to some things more than others, I'm sure that no matter what, it will always affect my reading speed. I cannot imagine that I can read quicker to music, or at least the same pace to music as I can when I'm sort of in silence, especially in bed in a world of my own, totally zoning in on the book. But that might be something for me to sort of look into as well at some point. Would it make me read faster in the right situations? I don't know. The next example I want to talk about is 2 books. And it's not specific songs for these books, but I've got Twilight and New Moon. And these two, it's basically because when I read these, I was going through very much a sort of metal, power metal and rock kind of phase. And any of the songs that I listened to simply so that I didn't have to hear the TV in the background if I was sat downstairs with my mum, or hear anything else going on in the house. Like, I could literally just shut off the entire world and it was just me, the books and the music. And so I've got a few songs that I associate with these. Most of you probably won't know them, but like some songs by Camelot and some songs by Sonata Arctica. And yeah, those songs, even when I hear them now, I associate them with the plot of these two specifically. And I know for a fact that I just used to read these over and over and over. Typical Twilight lover at the time. I used to reread them over and over and over, listening to the same handful of songs over and over and over. And so I've got to the point where I think I probably was reading quite quick, and those songs did feel like they were part of the books. It was a strange experience to me, and one that I thought I should throw in there. Now I want to mention an example of me with classical music. So I once wanted to give this a try. I'd heard about listening to sort of movie soundtracks while reading book versions of said movies. So I decided to try and read Harry Potter while listening to the Harry Potter soundtrack. And I've got to say, that was a very strange experience for me, and it's actually not one I enjoyed quite so much, because I feel like it made me think too much about the movie versions of the characters rather than the characters that are more in my head. I mean, when you've seen the Harry Potter films 5 billion times, like a lot of us have, and then you try and read the books, it's always going to be a little bit difficult to focus back on those original memories you had before the films even existed of these characters. But to throw the music into that fact, it just made it impossible. I was just fully imagining the film in my head, basically. Film characters, film voices, film setting, the lot. And I think that detracts from the wonderfulness that is reading Harry Potter. And yeah, I'd love to know whether any of you have ever tried that before, but that was a bad experience for me. Now, I have done other listening of classical music while reading, and generally I find that it doesn't really make a difference to me either way. I don't really notice it's there. It's quite good to shut out noise, say if you're in a really loud room, or you sat on the sofa and your boyfriend's got the TV on and you just want to read. But it doesn't really, I don't tend to associate the music with the book with classical. It has to be with words where I can mix them together. And so I'd really love to know what your experiences are with reading to music, whether you can do it, what your experiences are, any sort of childhood tales like mine. Drop me a comment down below, let's get chatting about this. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe by clicking the image of me to decide if you want to see more book reviews and other bookish content from me, and I'll see you Sunday with my bookmark collection. Bye bye!